Now, every time that I have been to a Buddhist temple, I'm always amazed at how intricate and the buildings are and how much attention to detail they pay to what they consider to be the past of Buddha. Now, um, something I learned today is that, well, more in detail, is that Buddha, or Siddhartha Buddha, is his full name, was actually not Buddha before. If that makes sense. He actually lived 10 lives prior to being Buddha. So in each life he was a different person, he had a different name, and in each life he was basically going through like a trial, and he had to complete some task in that lifetime, and then he would move on to the next. And then if he completed all 10, then in his final lifetime he would be considered the Buddha. And I didn't really know that. I didn't know that he wasn't always Buddha. He was, I guess 10 other people technically before he was a Buddha. And at this temple, there was a lot of different shrines around the big temple building itself, I guess. And they're like shrines that are depicting like different parts of Buddha's life. Like there was a tree that that supposedly signified where Buddha spent his many, 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 months, years meditating under, and that's the tree that, I mean, that's their, I guess their idea of what the tree looks like, kind of thing. So that was cool. They also have a place where inside the shrine it kind of has like it depicts like there's little statues and like little shrine trinkets and things like that. But it depicts where his first five monks that first started to follow him, like first met at like a I don't know, like a gathering, and then after that they started to spread Buddhism. There was also a pretty really cool shrine actually depicting the death of Buddha, and so I guess in Buddhism they always lay their dead in a certain way, and they also always burn their dead afterwards. So that was pretty cool to see how they depict Buddha dying. But when the prayer service started and we first walked into the main building, it was very quiet. People, no one talked, and I was afraid because I went with a friend of mine who is Buddhist and her family is Buddhist. So I wanted to ask her questions, but I didn't. I refrained. So I just kind of sat quiet, and the monks came in. They had their robes. It's like a three-piece robe. It's real simple, and they don't really have anything under it. And they came in. They lit some incense on the ground, and like front of the shrine where the statue of Buddha himself is. And they said some stuff that I don't understand. Apparently, it was in Sanskrit or something like that. And then they would walk over to and sit on this heightened kind of pedestal because the monks are supposed to be above everyone. Like everyone in the service is supposed to sit lower than the monks, so that's why they were heightened up. And on the walls around you, there's really, really nice murals depicting the life of Buddha in the past, his 10 lives, and there's like certain events depicted from each life, like him completing each task. I thought that was really cool. But basically, when the service started, I basically followed everyone's lead. We started by saying the word sadhu 3 times before each prayer, and I guess my friend explained that's like a short way to say monk. I guess it's kind of like a term for respect when starting a prayer. But yeah, and then we continued to pray, and then it was really peaceful. It's kind of like it reminded me of yoga, like spiritual yoga. But I mean, it was really interesting. It was a cool experience. I mean, and then afterwards they did like a procession kind of thing where they, you know, did the incense and people would say chants back and things like that. And then afterwards, we went outside and I mean, the people that were Buddhist, the people that go to the shrine, I mean, they're just like people, like, I'm gonna say Christians that go to church. Like, they are, they all have normal jobs. They all, I don't know, they all have families, and they're just really cool. I mean, I expected something totally different, but I kind of forgot that a Buddhist temple in America was probably a little different than a traditional Buddhist temple that would be in like Thailand or, India or something like that. But I mean, they had, pickup trucks and minivans and things like that, and they had iPhones and smartphones, which probably isn't technically what the Buddhist custom is supposed to be about, because from what I understand from the Buddhist custom is they're supposed to be living in a way that is like content with, getting by with, a minimum amount of material possessions, and they don't really require anything else and don't ask for anything else. Um, Also, what has always been interesting to me is to me personally, Buddhism is more of a lifestyle than a religion. That's just how I see it, because they have their basic beliefs like, do no wrong, don't lie, things like that, don't murder people, obviously, no crime. But at the same time, they're not really, I mean, they don't have like there's no predestination like you're going to hell or you're going to heaven or anything like that. They don't really worry about premarital sex, things like that. They kind of pursue like righteous lifestyles. Now, they are also big on learning. They're big on wisdom. They have a building that's basically a library that has textbooks and books and all kinds of books on different subjects like flight and human anatomy, which I thought it was cool because I was never expecting a Buddhist temple to have books on like jet propulsion and things like that. But I thought that was really cool. But yeah, it was a really cool experience, and I'm glad that I went. It's definitely out of my comfort zone. I was worried that I was gonna say something wrong or step somewhere I wasn't supposed to, but everything was pretty cool. It was alright. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool experience. Alright, well, thanks.